I'm Frank McGuire, and let's queer up students and youth culture. North Carolina Library Board dissolved over one trans children's book. An entire library board in North Carolina has been dissolved after controversy over a single children's book featuring a trans character. The Randolph County Board of Commissioners voted 3-2 earlier this week to disband the 9-member library board following backlash over Call Me Max, a picture book about a young trans boy. County spokesperson Amy Rudisill said about 40 people addressed commissioners before the vote. Call Me Max, written by Stonewall award-winning author Kyle Lukoff, who is trans, was shelved in the children's section. Lukoff has described it as a, quote, sweet and age-appropriate introduction to what means to be transgender, end of quote. The dispute began when a patron asked that the book be moved or placed higher on the shelves. When the library board denied that request in October, county commissioners stepped in, ultimately dissolving the board. Conservative activist Tim Fitzgerald of the North Carolina Values Coalition argued the book, quote, teaches children and their parents that their parents may be wrong about their gender, and that their gender is actually whatever they feel it is. Planting this lie in a child's mind at a young age can lead them down a harmful path of social and medical transitioning. American Kasey Meehan called the move extreme. She said it is a pretty dramatic, quote, a pretty dramatic response to wanting to have diverse and inclusive books on shelves, end of quote. Lukoff responded saying, quote, policies can be helpful, but this is ultimately a question of power. If there are people in power who simply believe trans people don't belong in their communities or the world at large, they simply twist their policies to try and make it a reality, end of quote.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right out and buy 10 copies of Call Me Max by Amy Rudisill, and I think we all should do that. Support this author and send a signal that no matter what ridiculous some commission in Randolph County, and by the way, it was 3-2, so there are 2 good commissioners.
Right.
Thank you to those.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're not going to assume, just like we do about Chick-fil-A, that everyone's bad. But so thank you to those 2. Thank you to the author, and thank you to the 7 people on that school library, that library commission, for standing up for what's right. We're going to get beyond this.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're talking numbers. Okay, so we're talking about one book imploded the commission.
How fragile.
40 people showed up. 40 people showed up to talk. I did some research. There's 144,000 people in the county. So that's 0.02%. So we're now less than 1% made a decision for the rest of the county.
Yeah.
And it's at a public library. So why don't we go back to letting parents, teach and let parents parent?
Yes.
If a parent doesn't want their child, whatever appropriate that book is, if the parent doesn't want the child to read that book, then let the parent decide. This is a public library.
Yeah.
These are places of learning, and people need the access to be able to learn if they so choose.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Rex. I do. I think it's all about the parents and their decision. As long as it's age appropriate, I'm fine with it. Listen, I was raised by 2 heterosexual people, and I was around a lot of heterosexual people growing up, and it did not make me heterosexual. I don't know why these folks think that you can make someone trans. You can't.
By a book.
Buy a book.
Exactly. You just are who you are.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's all. What does that smell like to you, folks? It smells like fear. That's what it is, right?
Fear.
It's complete. It's almost always fear. You're absolutely right.
Fear of who people are inside, because there's no age-appropriate stamp
Well, and if
for
they
your
put it
gender
up higher,
identity,
and if
right?
they put it up higher on the shelf, what is that going to do?
No, put it up higher, make it disappear.
A child can't check out a book and get a library card without a parent's approval. They can't check the book out without their parents' approval. So okay, if you're using the library as some sort of childcare and you're just dropping your child off, then maybe we should talk about your parenting skills. But again, this is one book with less than 1% of the population saying what the rest of the 99.9% of the population can or can't do.
Yeah, but I mean, think about it. That's what President Trump ran on.
Exactly.
Going after our trans siblings, and that's how he won.
I know.
All right, so
it's crazy.
And Faye, that's what I was getting ready to say.
I mean,
that election used us as a scare tactic and a political wedge. And that's why people are so freaked out anytime they hear anything transgender.
Yep.
We're 1 to 2% of the world population. What threat are we?
Yeah, and guess who's not in the Epstein files? Raji or any
Hello.
amazing human.
hello. Which, thank you. Supposedly it comes out on my birthday, and I'm like, thank you, happy birthday to me. Let's see.
Yes.
Let's make this happen.
So what, statistically, who are the child predators?
Yeah.
Heterosexual.
White men.
White men.
Yes. And who I feel for are the queer kids in that school, right? Because everybody at this table went looking for some kind of research to figure out who they were when they felt they were different, right?
Absolutely.
And the library was where I went, right? It was that special interest section. That's where I found my National Geographic with all the titties in it. But anyway, that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. So that queer kid going to that library looking for that book that maybe might give them a key to not want to kill themselves, right?
Yeah,
to know that they're not alone.
Right. They're not normal.
And they're not normal.
Yes, and Faye, you know what? For that queer kid that I was at school, I mean, it was so hard, and I'm sure we all can relate, the bullying that I went through. And I feel like when children are exposed age appropriately, it just makes them more open-minded. They know that this isn't a world of just one type of people. It's a diverse, beautiful world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I haven't, when I read that, it just reminded me of one thing. I have 8 grandchildren, believe it or not.
Ooh, I love that.
I was driving 2 of my grandchildren down to see my father a couple years ago. My granddaughter was 8, my grandson was 6. And they're sitting in the back seat of the car. And they call me Grumpy. And my granddaughter says,
I'm not going to touch
Grumpy, Grumpy, my daughter, my friend Elizabeth is in love with my friend Mary. And one day they're going to get married. And I was like, I just said to myself, a tear came to my eye. I said, it's all going in the right direction. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're going to have hurdles no matter what, but they get it. I mean, this next generation and then the generation after that, it's just going to all moving in the right direction.
They're way more fluid. No, but they are way more fluid than we are. And they give us hope.
Yes.
You understand? Like, I have told my little niece and nephew, this person goes by they, them pronouns. Okay, no problem. Done. Never had to repeat it a second time. They didn't see each other for a couple of years. They saw each other again. She remembered. Like, it's just like they get it. They get it. It's on a different level than us.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. It's
And books like this also not only would help the queer children, but they help the queer children's family.
Yeah.
So if that family saw their child reading this book, it opens up a conversation.
Right.
And it allows that conversation to happen in a safe space.
And that's what they should do, Rex. It's like,
Absolutely.
okay, you want to take out this book? All right, we've got a parent guide that goes with this book.
Absolutely.
Something like that where you make it family oriented. You take that back home. All right. I know you don't want to take that book with you, but take it because your kid needs to know and he wants to know about it. Right. And he's searching for some information. You know since you're a kid. You don't tell your family. We don't get to have the childhoods that we deserve because we're hiding during our childhoods. All of us.
And also
it's not fair.
We've all read things that go, okay, I didn't resonate with that. So now I know I'm not that. Yeah, so there's that too.
Yes,
No
100%.
parent, gay, straight, in between, trans, should ever give a book or a movie or a magazine to a child of any age
Without
and
reading
say,
it themselves.
read it themselves, but should never say, this is who you are.
Correct.
It should be, this is the beautiful option. You shouldn't.
Absolutely.
But,
No,
but
they
who
have to
does
throw
this
in-
to us? The heterosexual, homophobic parents.
Yeah.
Stuff books and movies down our throats, right? Telling us it's little kids. You're going to be straight. We can't have one book on a shelf in Randolph County without them.
No. I remember growing up and my mom would be like, you don't want to be that, right? You don't want to be that. Those people go to hell. Those people are bad. I mean, you hear that. Maybe there's a book that tells you the truth, right? And you're like, okay, my mom doesn't know what the hell she's talking about. Let me not, and let me not let that influence me 100%.
And
Let
then,
me figure out
here,
my
Mom,
own way.
I
You
need
know
you to
what I mean?
read this.
Here, Mom, let's read this together, Mom,
Absolutely.
because your daughter's a big old lesbian.
Wait, you are? What?
I was a horrible child. I would tell my mom, like, well, I looked it up. It says that the gay gene comes from the mom.
Come on, you did not.
Yes, I'm horrible. I don't care. But there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.